New York to Tokyo, commercial flight, 14 hours. Global 8000, 11 hours. That's 3 hours of your life back, every single flight. And in November 2025, this $78 million time machine just received its official certification from Transport Canada. The world's fastest business jet is now cleared for takeoff. Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about the Bombardier Global 8000. What just happened? So let's start with the big news. On November 14, 2025, the Bombardier Global 8000 received its type certification from Transport Canada. Now, if you're not familiar with aviation regulations, this is huge. Type certification means the aircraft has passed every single safety test, performance validation, and regulatory requirement needed to carry passengers. We're talking thousands of hours of flight testing, extreme weather conditions, engine failure scenarios, emergency procedures. Every system has been pushed to its limits and proven safe. Bombardier started developing this aircraft years ago with a clear goal: create the fastest, longest-range business jet ever built. And after rigorous testing, the regulatory authorities have confirmed they've achieved it. Now, Transport Canada certification is just the first step. The aircraft still needs FAA approval in the United States and EASA approval in Europe before it can operate globally. But Transport Canada's stamp of approval means the aircraft is fundamentally sound, and those additional certifications typically follow. Entry into service is expected in 2025, with first deliveries already underway to customers who've been waiting years for this moment. The speed revolution. So why are we calling this a time machine? Because the Global 8000 flies at Mach 0.95. To put that in perspective, that's 95% the speed of sound. We're talking about 721 miles per hour at cruise altitude. Most business jets cruise around Mach 0.85 to 0.90. The difference sounds small, but when you're talking about transcontinental or transoceanic flights, those numbers add up fast. Let's look at real-world examples. Los Angeles to London on a typical business jet? About 10.5 hours. On the Global 8000, you're shaving off close to an hour. New York to Dubai? You're cutting your flight time from roughly 13 hours down to under 12. This makes the Global 8000 the fastest civil aircraft since the Concorde retired in 2003. But here's the key difference. Concorde could only fly specific routes and required special supersonic corridors. The Global 8000 operates within normal airspace, lands at regular airports, and doesn't come with the operational headaches of a supersonic aircraft. The speed comes from Bombardier's advanced aerodynamics and the GE Passport engines, which are specifically designed for high-speed, high-efficiency performance. The smooth wing technology reduces drag, and every curve of the fuselage has been optimized in wind tunnels and computational fluid dynamics simulations. But speed is only half the equation, because what good is flying fast if you can't go far? Unprecedented range. The Global 8000 has a maximum range of 8,000 nautical miles. That's where the name comes from. But what does 8,000 nautical miles actually mean for real-world travel? It means you can fly from Dubai to Houston non-stop, Singapore to Los Angeles, London to Perth, Australia. These are routes that have either been impossible or required refueling stops on other business jets. Let me give you a concrete example. If you're based in Singapore and need to get to San Francisco, most business jets require a fuel stop in Alaska or Japan. That adds 2 to 3 hours to your journey when you factor in descent, landing, refueling, takeoff, and climb back to altitude. The Global 8000 makes that flight direct. The combination of speed and range is what creates the real magic. You're not just flying fast, you're flying fast for longer distances than anyone else. This opens up global connectivity that simply didn't exist before in business aviation. And Bombardier achieved this without sacrificing cabin space for fuel tanks. The aircraft carries its fuel efficiently while maintaining one of the largest cabin volumes in the ultra-long-range category. The the cabin experience. Now let's talk about what it's actually like inside this aircraft, because this is where the Global 8000 really separates itself from the competition. The cabin altitude is 691 feet. Let me explain why this number matters. When you're flying at 45,000 or 51,000 feet, the air outside is incredibly thin. Aircraft pressurize the cabin to simulate a lower altitude so you can breathe normally. But most business jets pressurize to the equivalent of 6,000 to 8,000 feet. At 6,000 feet, you're experiencing reduced oxygen levels similar to being in Denver, Colorado. Your body works harder, you get dehydrated faster, you arrive fatigued. The Global 8000's cabin simulates being at 691 feet, roughly the altitude of a mild hill. This is the lowest cabin altitude of any business jet in production. The physiological difference is significant. Better oxygen saturation means less fatigue, reduced jet lag, better sleep quality, and you arrive at your destination feeling dramatically better. Combine that with the Soleil lighting system, which adjusts throughout the flight to help regulate your circadian rhythm, and you're looking at a completely different flying experience. The cabin itself is divided into 4 living spaces. You can configure these however you want. Full bedroom with a stand-up shower, conference room, dining area, entertainment lounge. The nuage seating, which Bombardier developed specifically for this aircraft, uses a zero-gravity position to reduce pressure on your body during long flights. Technical performance. Let's get into the technical specifications that make all of this possible. The Global 8000 is powered by 2 GE Passport engines. These aren't off-the-shelf engines. They were developed specifically for Bombardier's Global family. Each engine produces around 18,920 pounds of thrust, giving the aircraft the power it needs for that Mach 0.95 cruise speed and the ability to climb directly to 51,000 feet. The wing design uses what Bombardier calls smooth wing technology. Traditional wings have separate flaps and slats that extend during takeoff and landing. The Global 8000's wing creates a smooth, continuous surface that reduces drag and improves fuel efficiency. The aircraft has a maximum operating altitude of 51,000 feet. Flying this high puts you above most weather, above commercial traffic, and in smoother air. It also gives you more direct routing options since you're not competing for altitude with airlines. Takeoff performance is impressive too. The Global 8000 can operate from shorter runways compared to other aircraft in its class, which expands the number of airports you can access. Range varies depending on payload, of course. With maximum passengers and full fuel, you're looking at slightly reduced range compared to the maximum 8,000 nautical miles. But even in typical configurations with 8 to 10 passengers, you're still exceeding the range of virtually every competitor. Fuel efficiency at high speed is where Bombardier's engineering really shines. Pushing an aircraft to Mach 0.95 typically burns significantly more fuel, but the aerodynamic refinements keep consumption reasonable for the performance you're getting. Market, position, and competition. So let's talk about the $78 million price tag and what you're actually getting for that investment. The Global 8000 competes directly with the Gulfstream G700 and the Dassault Falcon 10X. All 3 are ultra-long-range, large-cabin business jets aimed at the same customer base. The Gulfstream G700 has a range of about 7,500 nautical miles and cruises at Mach 0.925. It's an exceptional aircraft with a proven track record from a manufacturer known for reliability. The cabin altitude is around 4,850 feet, better than most jets, but not as low as the Global 8000. The Dassault Falcon 10X is still in development, with expected entry into service in the coming years. Dassault is promising a range around 7,500 nautical miles and a cabin altitude of 3,900 feet. So where does the Global 8000 stand? It's faster than both competitors, it flies farther than both competitors, and it has the lowest cabin altitude of any business jet in production. Bombardier is positioning this as the ultimate aircraft for customers who refuse to compromise. If you need to connect any 2 cities in the world, get there faster than anyone else and arrive feeling fresh. This is the only aircraft that delivers all three. The target customer is typically an ultra-high net worth individual or corporation with global operations. We're talking about people who value their time at thousands of dollars per hour. For them, saving 3 hours on a flight isn't just convenient, it's economically rational. Current order book details aren't publicly disclosed, but Bombardier has indicated strong demand. Delivery slots are already filling up for the next several years, and with limited production capacity, customers ordering today might be looking at a multi-year wait.